learn from that gave you insights on investing that those who had not been in the trenches
Well,
don't bring?
the first company took no capital and generated an enormous amount of capital for me. Then I got fat, dumb, and happy, and my second company, I put in a lot of capital.
You thought you knew what you're doing.
And I violated the low risk, high uncertainty principle.
Ah.
I got my head handed to me, and I got that seared heavily in my psyche. And now the third business, if you call Pabrai Funds a business, I call it a gentleman of leisure activity. But Pabrai Funds is, again, low risk, high uncertainty in the sense that there's no downside. It never took capital. So it's a great business.
So as a gentleman of leisure, is that why you take a nap each day at 4 p.m.?
There's nothing better. Do you have a nap room?
I wish.
You know, when I went to Warren's Berkshire headquarters last year, my friend Guy asked Warren. He said, "Warren, Monish has a nap room in his office. Do you have a nap room?" And Warren's answer was yes. Okay, so I was surprised. So I said, "Warren, you're telling me in Kiewit Plaza there's a nap room for you?" He says, "Yes." He says, "Not every day, but every once in a while, I need to go to sleep in the afternoon."
Well, there's something to that. My father called it having a conference.
All right, that's right. No, it does wonders. I have a hard time getting past the day without the nap. So the nap is a must.
So having those two experiences, no capital, then as you say, fat and happy, and then you got your head handed to you. What when you look at an equity, when you look at a possibility, what are those experiences? What insight do you get from those experiences?
Well, the insight is the same in the sense that I think that Warren says that I'm a better investor because I'm a businessman,
right?
And I'm a better businessman because I'm an investor. So the thing is that my experiences as a businessman have very direct, long-term positive impacts on me as an investor, because when I'm looking at an investment, I now look at it like the way I looked at my first business, which is the first thing I'm looking at is, how can I lose money on this? And can I absolutely minimize my downside? The upsides will take care of themselves. It's the downsides that one needs to worry about, which is why even the checklist becomes important. But so the important thing that value investors focus on is downside protection. And that's exactly what entrepreneurs focus on, is what is my downside? So that is I would say the crossover between entrepreneurship and investing, and value investing especially, is protect your downside.
Now, you're a hedge fund manager, but you're unusual. First, your fee structure. Explain that.
Well, my fee structure, one of my attributes about a great investor is be a copycat, do not be an innovator. So when I started
pioneers take the arrows?
Yeah. So when I started Pabrai Funds, I actually didn't know anything about the investing business. And the only, if you can call it a hedge fund, that I was familiar with was the Buffett partnerships. And when I looked at the Buffett partnerships, I found that Warren Buffett charged no management fees. He took 25% of the profits after a 6% hurdle. And all of that made all the sense in the world to me, because I felt it aligned my interests completely with my investors. So I said, why mess with perfection? Let's just mirror it. And that's what I did. And what I didn't realize at the time, it took me a few years to realize it, is that mirroring created an enormous moat for Pabrai Funds. Because the investors who join me will never leave. Because it's the first question they ask any other money manager they go to work for or they want to put money with is, what is your fee structure? When they hear the fee structure, they say, I'm just going to stay where I am. And so first of all, it creates a moat where the existing investors do not want to leave, and the new ones who join the church are happy to join.
You're also unusual in another way. You don't seem to go out of your way to woo institutional investors.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm looking for people who want to invest their family assets for a long period of time. I really don't want investors who are looking at putting things into style buckets, or are going to look at allocations every quarter, or might need to redeem in a year, and those sorts of things. So their frameworks are very different. So in general,
So someone who comes with you is a minimum of what, 2 years, 3 years, what, before you allow them an exit?
our exits are annual, so people can get out once a year. But what we suggest to them is to not invest if they don't have at least a 5-year horizon. But we don't impose any, because people can have hardships, they can have all kinds of things happen.
Now, low cost. One of the things that apparently institutional investors are flummoxed by is it's you.
Our total expenses for running the funds, which the investors get charged for, is between 10 and 15 basis points a year. That's what they pay for all the accounting, audit, tax, administration, and everything. They don't pay for my salary or my staff's salary. We take that out of the performance fees. And they only pay the performance fees after 6%. So, what a deal.
Now, you're not big on schmoozing investors.
I think the thing is that every business ought to figure out who their ideal customer is. And at Pabrai Funds, what I've found is that investors who do their own homework, find me and do the research on me on their own without any middlemen involved, and then invest in Pabrai funds like Amazon, which is wire the money and send the forms, tend to be the best investors. In fact, the investor base we have is mostly entrepreneurs who created their wealth themselves, and they're very smart, and they're in a wide range of industries. In fact, my analyst pool is my investor base. So I have investors in all kinds of industries. And when I'm looking at investment ideas in particular industries, I can call them. And I get the best analyst at the best price with no conflict of interest. So it works out great.
Free, that sounds
Oh,
pretty good.
yeah. It's
They
wonderful.
pay you.
Yeah, exactly. It's great.
You're not even registered with the SEC?
I think the hedge funds so far have not had to. I don't know if the rules will change. If the rules change, of course, we'll follow the rules.